Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the Rise Fitness and Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Carlo. Today, we're going to talk about the main principles you should take into consideration when approaching the scary topic of starting a diet. If you ever had one of those moments where you repeat yourself, but I eat so healthy, why is this not working? Well, no problem. I am here to help, so enjoy the episode. And let me know what you think on my Instagram channel. Let's clear some fog up before jumping into the to hell with this mood and dive back into the huge basket of chocolate cream. Dieting is a huge topic. There's an enormous amount of literature on this, an infinite amount of websites, books, experts, trends, influencers, advices from friends, family, neighbors, and well, you name it. All of this contributes to make things worse, as it's just adding noise over noise, and it makes it difficult for anyone to focus on the one thing that matters, having a healthy relationship with food while reaching the goal in terms of body composition and, consequently, body weight. Now, allow me to make a couple of specifications here. Weight loss is a term that is generally used in place of fat loss, so keep this very clear in mind while listening to this episode. Keep also in mind that dieting does not necessarily imply losing weight. It can also be the opposite. Also, if you're planning to start a fat loss journey, but you already are in a situation where this can be extremely unhealthy or risky, please stop here. Seek advice from a doctor or a specialist. This said, let's dive in. First of all, what is dieting? Well, actually, what is not dieting? Not dieting includes, for example, crazy restrictions and limitations on the food choices, developing anxiety when the moment of a meal or a snack approaches, unhealthy comparisons with others that are going through a different journey, or developing an obsession over body images versus health. And lastly, squeezing unrealistic goals and expectations in the short term to then binge like crazy right after the deadline. So then, what is dieting instead? Well, having a measurable goal to aim for. An example of a total body fat percentage, a waist measurement to improve, but also a blood test marker to improve. Or developing a sustainable relationship with food, still including foods that you like in a diet that could be considered unhealthy, enjoying the process without rushing it. And lastly, that's very important, dieting is a challenge with yourself and yourself only. Nothing else matters. No one else matters. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, but I kind of advise you to listen to this distinction a couple of times more before going forward, as it is crucial to have it well clear in mind before doing anything else, listening to anything else. I am kind of serious. Did you listen to those already a couple of times? Really? Alright then, let's move on. Okay, so make a little experiment with me and answer to these questions in your mind. First, did you ever try dieting in the past? Second, how did you feel? Third, how long did you last? 4. How many of the previous points can you check, both from the good and the bad ones, about what is dieting and what is not? You got that cleared up? So I know we all have been through the moment where our image in the mirror doesn't reflect our expectations, or when our friend or favorite Instagrammer is in a crazy good shape and that makes us feel terrible and dissatisfied, or when our blood test comes back and looks like an unpaid bill because of all the red text. We all have been through that, man, from Monday it's diet time. And then we start in a harsh restriction of calories, followed by raging hour-long sessions on the treadmill that lasted like, maybe until the first Saturday after the Monday. Because then we went out with friends for dinner, had the delicious foods that we were craving for, we had a couple of drinks, and fell into the F this mentality to binge for the entire weekend, and then feel a disaster by Monday, slide into a vicious circle of punishing restrictions, harder trainings, and guilty ice creams, feeling helpless and in a bubble of, well, this doesn't work for me, I can't do this. Does this feel somewhat familiar? Okay, listen, the truth is that there is a way to make this sustainable for you and allow you to reach your results without being locked in a monastery eating a carrot per meal for the next 6 months. Where to start? The next things I'm going to mention are basically something that looks like a list of action steps. Now, some of those might sound a little bit complicated, a little bit daunting, a little bit scary, a little bit on the side of, whoa, do I really have to do this? So, my answer for these is yeah, you're mostly right. Some of those are complex. Some of those might sound a little scary, specifically if you've never done anything similar. But lastly, yes, it is better if you start doing them. Now, if you want to start tomorrow morning, do everything and follow it like crazy. Okay, so slow down a little bit. I know that it's good to start with the right step. Yes, that's also was written in the description of my podcast and my Instagram channel. But the point is here that it's important to understand them first. So if you have the chance, listen to these once and then maybe listen to them another time and take some notes. Because, yeah, it is basically a list of action steps. And they require your attention and they will ultimately require your action. As we already mentioned in the previous episodes, you need an action to achieve results. And the better results you achieve and the more results you achieve, the easier it will be to be motivated. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, one last thing before we dive in. This list might be a little long and some of those might be slightly complicated to explain in one episode only. So I think I'm going to break this into two chunks. So that in the first one, you'll be able to understand the main points, and in the second one, we'll see what's left. Alright, enough talking. Let's dive in. As I said before, where to start? Okay, first thing first. You need to know your body weight. So if you don't have a body scale, I really recommend you to buy one. There are a million types you can buy. Buy one that suits your needs as long as it is possibly precise. Yeah, I know the scales should be precise, but when you measure your weight from scale to scale, sometimes there are unknown fluctuations. So for your sanity, I suggest you to get one and stick with that. That will make it easier for you to have data that is consistent. Okay? So measure your body weight tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach, and well, yeah, of course, after the morning routine at the restroom, if possible, and write the value down. Write it on a piece of paper, write it on an app, I don't know, write it somewhere where you can have it clear inside. So this will be your starting point. Now, I understand this might sound a little scary, but I would like to request you to do this every morning from now on. And you might wonder, why do I need to do this? Well, the answer is simple. Because you need a set of data that is consistent to see and understand what's going on with your body weight on a few days, possibly few weeks trend. Okay? So please make this into a habit. Now I know, I understand there's a lot more to body weight than matters. Body composition matters too. Yes, fine. But we need a numerical value to refer because it's useful no matter what. So if you don't know where to keep track of your weight, again, you can have like a notebook, you can use any app to keep track of the values. What matters is that you are consistent so that we have a few weeks worth of data to understand. Now, before you flip at the value of your body weight going up and down one day after the other randomly with no apparent explanation, let me tell you once again, let me stress this out, that what matters is the trend over at least 7 days of measuring. That is because from one day to the other, a lot of factors can be involved. Your stomach might still have some food. You might have had water during the night. You might have some water retention. If you're a woman, you might be approaching your period, so there's more water retention in your body. So no need to go crazy. The reason why I'm asking you to make this a habit is because we need to understand what happens over a trend. So flipping over your body weight, drastically changing from yesterday to this morning doesn't make any sense. Okay? Understood? Okay, so if that is clear, let's see what else we need to do. Here we go. Time to talk about food here. So there are a few things that I'd like to mention. But, some of those will require some in-depth discussion that we will have more in the future. But for the time being, bear with me with the simplicity of the information I'm giving to you today. Again, I don't want you to go crazy thinking there's so much things you have to take care of all of a sudden. So allow me to explain things in a simple way so that you can benefit from these concepts to start with. Eat your protein. Hashtag eat your protein. I will never ever stress this enough. And this will be another topic for another podcast, but today, let me explain you this. Work on eating protein every meal. Every meal. And how much protein you have to eat? Well, work towards having at least 1 gram of protein per kilo of your body weight every day. I say this again. At least 1 gram of protein per kilo of your body weight every day. Now, this is helpful because protein will help you feeling more satiated and satisfied after every meal, so that you can resist longer, quote unquote, resist longer before approaching the next meal or before thinking about diving in your snack drawer in your kitchen. Okay? So, protein keeps you satiated, and if you're working out, protein helps you build them muscles. Of course, you can have more, of course. Especially if you work out, you should consider having more because your muscles will need energy, will need building blocks to grow. So if you're working out, please have more. Please, I'm begging you. Okay? Now, well, I'm not begging you, but I'm being honest here. You need protein, no matter what. It can be any type of protein as long as it is protein. It can be plant-based, it can be animal-based, it can be whatever you like. Well, not there are many different sources, but you do need protein. Okay, on to the next. Ramp up the veggies. We heard it a million times already. You know it. Eat the rainbow. Sounds familiar, right? So, again, include veggies every meal you can. Why? Because, again, they will help you feeling full. And they're good. And they contain a lot of micronutrients. And they're just great for you. And we need them. You need micronutrients. You need fibers. You need veggies. So don't look at me with the surprised face and eat your broccoli. Next on the list, something I have been asked a million times. Most of the times this way. But Carlo, I am scared. What about carbs? Well, allow me to shock you. So if you're standing up, you might want to sit down. You can eat carbs. Oh, yup, you heard that right. I'll say this again. You can eat carbs and surprise, surprise, you can eat carbs after 8 p.m. too. What? I know. It's shocking. But the truth is that including carbs in your diet is not only beneficial for your body composition, but also for your sanity. The key here is do not overload. And yeah, you can eat pasta. You can eat rice after 8 p.m. The next morning, you will not wake up obese. Why? Because, and this is rocket science, the total amount of calories you eat per day matters more. So, paradoxically, if I had to eat, I don't know, let's make a very silly example. If I have to eat 1,000 calories a day, it doesn't matter when I eat them. I can eat them for breakfast, I can eat them for lunch, I can eat them at midnight. And that's it. That's all that matters. Got it? Got it? Yeah? Really? Really? And the last thing for today, yeah, I know, you want to know everything else, right? But I have been talking for almost 30 minutes already, and I want to keep this short because we have things to do. So the last thing for today is drink a lot of water every day. That's it. No more rocket science. No more BS. Water is good for you. Drink. And if you keep forgetting of drinking water, keep a damn bottle of water on the desk in front of your face. That's what I do myself. I keep forgetting to drink, so I keep a bottle of water right in my face. So every time I look at it, I drink. And that's because water is helpful for you, and also it helps you curb hunger to a smaller term. So why not? And I also say water because water is 0 calories. I know, right? Surprising. Water is 0 calories. Water is great. So instead of chugging like a sugary drink or a soda or fizzy stuff that contains a ton of sugar and it's really bad for you, just chug on water. And if you belong to the side of the world that doesn't like the flavor of water, well, because water is unflavored actually, I understand. So one thing you can do, you can buy a lime, you can buy a lemon, cut those in slices, leave them inside the bottle of water, and then you go. You have a delicious lemon or lime flavored water, which is super duper great for you. No excuses here. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening all the way to here. I really appreciate it. So this is the end of the first part of the Dieting 101 podcast. I know there's a lot else to say, but while you're waiting for the next episode, please try to work on the things I suggested. For anything else, please reach me on my Instagram channel at thecarl.fit. Talk to you next week. Thank you, everybody.